What's up guys, and welcome back to another EVE Online video. Tonight I want to talk about another feature that was introduced during the Viridian expansion last week, and that is corporation projects. Now I'm sure any of you that have read the patch notes and have seen there's probably some videos around and stuff, or you're in corporations that have tried out some corporation projects, you're probably aware of them by now and have sort of seen what's come up. But so what I wanted to talk about today is how it functions as a corporation director or CEO. So I am a director of, if you're new to the channel, those of you who follow me will already know this, but if you're new to the channel and have just found this video, I'm a director of a corporation called Disaster Area. We live in Wormhole Space. If you are interested, by the way, we are actively recruiting, so feel free to reach out to me in game or find the corporation, find one of our recruiters. But yes, so as I want to sort of talk about how projects function and things as a corporation director or CEO. And the reason I think that's important is if we go to the patch notes for the expansion, the expansion notes, there is quite a large section right at the top on corporation projects. All of this. So there's a decent bit of detail in here that you can of course go and read, and most of you probably already will have. But what's interesting is obviously, which I sort of makes sense at the moment at least, is only corporation CEOs and directors have the ability to create projects. Now I want to talk about something about that later on. But so that means any of you that aren't CEOs or directors, don't have your own corporations, you will only see the receiving end of it, right? You'll only see a notification saying, hey, the corporation wants you to do this. So what I want to try and do is give you a bit more context about what it looks like from our perspective, what sort of customization we have, and my opinion on the limitations of the tool at this point. What I do want to start with, and caveat all of that with, is I'm really excited about this as a concept. Corporation projects, it's a great idea, and it's got so much potential. We can potentially do so much there, and so anything, if I come across a bit negative in this video, it's not deliberate. It's just this is a first. My opinion is this is a first step to what will hopefully be a really, really powerful in-game tool for corporations. But so let me go back to the game, and we can have a look at how it functions. If I open up corporation, straight away on the corporation page, where we used to just have bulletins, details, and kill reports, we've now also got a projects tab. This is obviously where a corporation can keep track of all the active projects they've got going on, ones that were completed, for example. Because if I go to history, I had a couple of other tests that have been completed last week, but obviously that doesn't go in here. And we've got one ongoing that I just have running as a test right now. But so this is like front and center on the corporation page for us, and we have the ability to create new here. This is where it gets quite limited straight away, and this is one of the reasons I want to bring your attention to this, is we have very limited control, and it's not super practical at this point, and I'm going to go through that right now. This is the full window. This is everything we've got to go off. So obviously we can name it whatever we want and add a description. That's easy enough. So let me just call this like YouTube test, so I can just delete it later. Created for YouTube. And there's then a few different contribution methods. This is the important section. This defines what kind of project it is, whether it's like a mining project or other kind of resource harvesting, whether it's PvP, whether it's PvE. You can go in here, and this is what's available to us. This is the full list. Defaults to manual, which I find kind of odd. I don't really understand the manual creation tool yet, so I do need to explore that a little bit further, to be honest. Because you go manual, you can input a target value on a on an enforcer path. I'm just going to test that now, and like 10,000 of what manual contribution method, and there's a new project available. So all of my corp will have just got this notification, so they'll probably be a bit annoyed. Um, but let's just have a quickly go back and see what it says about manual stuff. So manual, a free form type project that is an empty canvas. It like it does nothing. It is flexible and can be used for any purpose, with the caveat that the tracking of progress is manual. So, so what? So the only thing you can do with a manual project there, as far as I can tell, if anyone knows differently, please, please, please leave a comment. But as far as I can tell, with a manual project, is I guess in the description, YouTube test, where's the description? I guess in the description I'd have to put the details, and then the target value is 10,000, but there's no way for it to there's no way for the game to automatically track it. So I don't know how this bar would ever fill up. So I really don't understand manual opportunity, for one. So that sort of my rant about manual out of the way. I need to work out how to delete this. So this is how you can just remove that if you go into view admin details. Again, presumably you have to be CEO or director. You can then go in and delete. This appears to be how I can track it. There we go. So you can manually, so we've collected 5,000 of whatever it was I was trying to collect, which it's not. There we go, 5,000, apply. It's now 50% done. But that is pure manual tracking. They can only be done this way. So I'm going to... Apparently I can't delete it. Are you going to let me delete it? Alright, it's not going to let me delete it for now. So I'll come back and delete that later. So let's go back to the create view again. There's a bunch more to talk about here as well, but I'm just going to go back to the corporation window because there's this whole opportunities tab. Okay, and we're going to create a new again. Let me remove these windows so it's less going on in the background. These are then, outside of manual, we do have some slightly better options. Okay, you can mine materials, and then you can name a specific material type. So let's just say Veldspar, and you can pick Veldspar. You can pick a specific solar system. So if I type in Jita, I'll do that, and I want 10,000 units of Veldspar mined in Jita. That's quite good, pretty cool. Again, limitation is, though, that if you do want to name specific material types, you can only do one per project. So if the corporation wanted to receive Veldspar, Jasper, and Rakavine, I'd need 3 separate projects. I couldn't just put them all in one project, which is a little bit annoying. But this is automatically tracked, so the miners don't even need to deposit the ore anywhere. This is just if anyone in the corporation now goes out in Jita and mines Veldspar, this will automatically be tracked. Why is this useful? You might be wondering. As far as I can tell, it's got one specific use. And again, this is also mentioned in the patch notes. And basically that is to push system indexes in nullsec. Basically here, a project that can be used to incentivize mining in a specific solar system to, for example, raise its industrial index. That's a nullsec mechanic, and I can't see any other benefit. Maybe the other thing is if you want to get your moons cleared quickly. So again, maybe low sec null sec. You could put in a specific moon ore type, and then the system, and then people will go and clear that. That's maybe it. But it's basically it's nullsec, and it's basically about driving up system indexes. That's all that really does for now. And then similarly, destroy non-capsuleers. This is obviously PvE, and again you can name a specific system or not. I put in a target value. That's the target value here, I believe, is damage dealt to NPCs. Let's just check here. Destroy non-capsuleers. Maybe by destroying. It does say destroying, so it might be they have to actively be destroyed for one unit. But again, same thing. There's no benefit to the corporation for doing this that I can think of, apart from nullsec mechanics. You can raise the security index of a system by ratting in it. So again, that's probably where this fits. Otherwise, there's not a real benefit to it. Then there's also, I'm going to skip deliver for a second, there's also damage capsuleers, which is probably slightly more exciting. Like not a big one. Again, I live in wormhole space, so this not a big one for us in wormhole specifically, apart from just to go and encourage people to go out and do some PvP, which is also useful. But you can actively target people and specific ships and things. So organization is going to be a particular corporation. So if I use my, can I do WAD squad, which is my old corporation? Yeah. So you can target a specific corporation. If you want to go after a specific ship type, you can, and or a specific solar system. So there's more to this one. This could be useful if you're a low sec corp, or if you're involved in a war in nullsec. Then obviously you can set things up in here to go and target specific organizations or individuals. I think you can even do an individual. So if I go after one of my corp mates, you can target a specific individual. So if someone's been harassing your corporation a little bit, or you just generally a bit fed up with someone in game, then as a corporation you can target an individual, and then your guys can go after them. In this case, the target value is the amount of damage dealt, not the number of times they've been destroyed. So just bear that in mind. Or if you leave it all blank, then it's just generic, go and shoot stuff. So definitely more use to this one. I quite like the damage capsuleers element. Pretty good, but still limited by something I'm going to mention in a second. Yes. I didn't mean to do that actually. And so then the last one that I glossed over a second ago is deliver. And so this is when the corporation actually needs items or materials. So mine materials was just to push a system index. The corporation didn't actually get anything from it. This type deliver is asking for something specifically to be delivered to, and you can choose a specific location as well. And again, so this could be super useful. If you've got a large construction project going on, could be super useful. We need, I don't know, let's say we need a bunch of minerals to do a couple of battleship production chain. I need 10 ravens, so the corporation needs to get this much material. This could be great. This could be really good, and is a great stepping stone for that. A limitation again, though, same as before, is you can only have one item per project. So if I put tritanium in, that's it. I can't then add something else. Like if I do anything there, it goes away. So I would need. So if we wanted to build ravens, for example, and I wanted members of the corporation to supply everything to build the ravens, I am going to have to set up 7, 8, 9, 10 different projects to do that, which is a bit of a pain. And that's at a minimum. If I then want to build these individual things instead, then there's then there's but more stuff. So you might end up with 15 projects just to build one raven, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, that's one of my main bugbears is this limitation. The other one, and this does seem like a bit of an oversight, again, only my opinion, and I really, really hope that they do expand this later on. None of these projects, regardless of what you want to do with them, if it's just push a system index, if it's actually do a build project or anything, none of them can be incentivized. This is all the options we have to go off. We can't add rewards to it at all. So, if I want people to deliver 5 million units of titanium, 50 million units of titanium to one of my systems, okay, they just have to donate that to the corporation. Which some players, of course, are willing to do, and that's great, but we don't actually want people to. We want to be able to empower our players. We want to be able to, yes, they want to contribute, but also we don't want to bankrupt them. So we buy stuff from them. We don't just ask them to give it to us. That's what this system does at the moment. So right now there's no reason for me to use any of these in wormhole space with the playstyle we currently have, because we do this already. We have corporation buyback systems. We have build projects where we set up contracts to receive certain items. That's existed for quite a long time, of course, and that's what we're going to have to keep doing because I want to pay my players. If someone's going to come and deliver 50 million titanium, then I'm going to give them quite a lot of ISK for that. So yes, that's mostly that. So this is what I wanted to sort of show you guys, the limitations currently behind the system. And so if you've been seeing a few of these pop up and you've sort of been going, oh, hang on, like what's our leadership team wants us to go and do all this, but like why, and why are they asking us to do it for free and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of why, I'm afraid. But like I said, super positive that it's been introduced. I'm really excited. The framework is there now to go on and build a really quite powerful corporation management system. Like that one small two steps here, being able to do multiple item types or multiple people or multiple systems in one project, and being able to incentivize and reward those projects would straight away make this thing really useful. Straight away, in one sweep, just like that. Rewards especially, but also the ability to do multiple items and multiple systems in one project. I'd be using this right away now. We'd stop using contracts and we would use this. So, a couple other things. Now that I've spoken about that, a couple other things really quickly. I don't know if I'll be able to do it from G2 actually, because we don't have an office here. Yeah, I don't have an office here, which is a shame. But you will notice in systems where you're in a corporation, where your corporation has an office, there will be a new hangar that's called deliveries in your corporation hangars. Sorry, not deliveries. What's it called? Projects. Sorry, it'd be called projects. That's on me. Which is where, if you're doing a delivery, if you're trying to satisfy a delivery project, this won't be counted unless the items are dropped into the project's hangar. So that's important if you're trying to do one of these for your corporation, you want to supply the goods, you got to drop it in the projects hangar for it to be recognized. I think that's mentioned in the patch notes. Uh, Here, corporations with an office will have a new hangar called projects. This hangar can have items dropped into it that are required to progress the deliver items project. And you can only drop. It will only be the admins, so the CEO and directors, that can take from that hangar. So be sure you want to drop the stuff in there before you do, because it's not going to stop you from dropping stuff that isn't required. So you'll just lose that if you drop it in there. Potentially, of course, if you have nice leadership, they'll give it back. But and then the other thing is the opportunities window, which is directly linked to the projects, but also more so. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because I don't know enough about the home front operations yet, and there's a lot of content out there on that stuff. But basically now you can use opportunities. It's sort of an expansion of the AIR system, AIR system, where you have all this stuff put in one place now. So obviously you've got the early game careers, but actually these don't have to be specifically the early game careers anymore. You'll see this YouTube test is an enforcer project. If I browse by career, YouTube test, my corporation project is still there. So you've got all your home front operations and all your corporation projects now in one place, so you can sort of look for content that's specific to how you want to do it through the operations window, opportunities window, sorry. And you've also got the agency. And if you've got mission offers from agents, they turn up in here. And there's your active stuff that's ongoing as well. Yes, and then the one other thing I wanted to mention actually is an improvement I would really like to see again in the system is to be able to expand it beyond directors and CEOs to be able to actually operate these corporation projects. A new role would be really useful. So, just like project coordinator or project manager, something like this, where again it allows leadership to empower the membership of the corporation, reward particular individuals with additional responsibility and things if projects came along. And it can be tied more closely to, as an example, if you've got a large industrial project coming along, it's not necessarily me, it's not necessarily my fellow directors that are operating that manufacturing project. We've got a bunch of industrialists that get involved in that kind of stuff, and they might want to set up projects that help support that process. So if we can designate some of them as a project manager, then they're the ones that can get on and do the building, do the spreadsheets, all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't have to be one of us. So I've rambled for quite a long time. I hope it was informative. I'm really interested to know what you guys think and what your experience of operations are so far, corporation projects. So please let me know in the comments what you think of them. If you see the potential, the same sort of potential I see, or if you see something else, really interested to get your opinion. If you've hopefully seen on the logo that I am also an Eve partner, so any of your suggestions that come up in my comments, I can feed back in through the partnership program to CCP and the devs. So if you want to be heard, please drop a comment about anything you think might be useful. And yeah, I appreciate you watching. I hope it's been informative. And thanks a lot, guys. I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.